several challenges. There is always a need for, the customers always want a better quality product. They always want a product which is at low cost, higher product purity. To derive more value from a product. We just saw. Often from scale up from the lab to the production, that has a lot of challenges. We are able to develop the product. We are able to develop the formulation, test it out, sample it out. The product gets approved. But now we have to produce it at a larger level, and that poses a lot of challenges.
That is something what we have discussed here, the mixing process. What we are talking about when we talk about mixer, high-speed mixer, it's just increasing the mechanical speed, which means more mass is being moved, but it is still not working at a molecular level. True. And when you talk about mixing, it has to be at a molecular level mixing should take place. So one is a macro mixing and one is a micro mixing.
Okay, absolutely.
And then micro mixing when happens, then only you get a uniform mixing. And this is where I think we come in picture. And when I say, ultrasonic works at the micro level. So the mixing happens at the micro level. Now he gave an example of water and oil. When you mix it, it will separate out after, no matter what kind of mixture, what speed you use.
Because of its density, it will separate.
But when you use ultrasonic, it is different. You can have an immersion which would be more stable. It will last over a longer period of time. Yes, physically, because like you said, with gravity, it will, molecules also are oil in water or water in oil, whatever it is, the way it is formed. But it doesn't come out because now it forms a stable, stable because some energy has gone in and that holds the molecule together. So there are new techniques by which we can form stable emulsions. We give some pharmaceutical companies for these medicines, where the solid is suspended in, with a lot of, I think, child medicines are now available in suspension, where in a liquid form. And then it forms a much more stable emulsion over a period of time.
I think your cosmetics industry would have a lot
of cosmetics is similar.
Shampoos. There is an industry where stable emulsions.
Everyone must have experience, but people may not have noticed that. Suppose if you use any hair oil or shaving cream, कभी भी दवा में पहले oil आएगा, बाद में थोड़ा cream आएगा. So this must be.
That is the reason you shake.
और सबसे पहले के जमाने में डॉक्टर लोग भी पिसाब पे हिला के लो. So with your own you mix it. Don't depend upon manufacturer.
But then another point what you mentioned about the mixer. Now, whatever was the problem in that particular case, where the starter speed, you increase it from going 50 to 60, but there are a lot of new technology which are coming now, where you have variable speed drives where you can operate from 50 to 400 hertz, and if your equipment is capable of handling at that frequency, you can simply by changing the speed of the stirrer, you can get some productivity improvements. Not always, but sometimes, So
yeah, see what happens in some cases. 400 hertz is something which should not be realistic. 100 hertz is what generally becomes the operating range. But then what happens is your entire mechanical design would change. Because as you are increasing the speed, your torque is changing, your power is changing. So mechanically, the reason why I shared that example was that there was not much of change which had to be done in the system. It was an existing system, it was an operating plant. Things had to be done in an operating plant without taking a major shutdown. But these kind of incremental improvements are possible once the theoretical concepts are well understood. So there is always a need for higher product purity, higher product value. We talked about challenges related to scale up, lowering the production cost. One of the important challenges that the industry has. Equipment operation and maintenance issues. That could hamper the productivity of the plant. Lower lead times. The product development time which is there is low. Scaling it up is low. Having it in production is low. So that is another important thing which the industry is facing the challenges. Increased cost of machines, materials, power and people. So on one end we are trying to lower the cost, at the other end everything is increasing. So we need to make sure that our processes, our equipment which are used for the processes work effectively as far as the cost is concerned. There is intense competition. There are, by the day the operational safety issues, the awareness and the seriousness has increased. Today we have a lot of multinational companies. Earlier, the way the Indian chemical industry used to operate and the way it is operating today, there is a huge amount of change, and it is something which is absolutely necessary and desirable. Environmental issues, there are statutory obligations. We all had some challenges or the other when it comes to applications related to mixing. So it may be a different industry, a different environment, but the challenges more or less remain the same for the industry. Challenges 2020. The reason why we say challenges 2020 because now it's a fast-paced world. Everybody wants everything to happen in quick time. So development of new products, frequent product changeovers. We have a line. Okay, the customer wants this. The customer wants this. Change the line. We don't want to change the equipment, but we want to have the flexibility of getting a product changeover fast. Minimum time for product conception to implementation. Little time for lab trials. Multi-purpose equipment. The same equipment should be doing drying, coating, mixing. Okay, everything should be done in the same equipment. At the end of the day, the mixer no longer remains a production tool. It has become a critical and a decisive business. That is what today's environment is. The business environment wants everything to happen at a fast pace.